YouTube Nation, Manvin TV, aka me TV, aka a new challenger has appeared, and it goes by the name of ACTA. And I'm put like this, guys, if you didn't like SWTOR, you're not going to like ACTA at all. But before I get started, I want to say thank you for watching the show. Thank you for sending me information. Today's show is brought to you by The Punisher. That's right, because apparently we all have a little vigilante in us, even the government. And I want to talk about this because the previous show, we talked a little bit about, SWTOR and people coming together and trying to black out things. And what happened since then? We've seen Megaupload get attacked and shut down. We've seen other file sharing sites get shut down. Other file sharing sites as well shut down on their own out of fear. It goes to show you that you don't need SOPA or a PIPA bill to pass for the government to come after you. That's what it shows you. They went around it and used different laws to try to get people. However, they're a little bit flawed in their attack due to the fact that they're not getting to the root of the problem. We've seen hackers go after, companies and carrying on all this week. It's not going to stop anytime soon, and it's only the beginning. That's right. Now let's get into ACTA real quick, due to the fact that it is more important than as I usually start with EA. Okay, guys? So let's see what's ACTA really about. ACTA is a larger bill. Like I said, if you didn't like SWTOR, you're not going to like ACTA. It's actually a larger, more broader, more vague bill to what they can do to control the internet. That's what this comes down to, guys. It really does. Now, I will explain that there are no circumventing DRM when it comes to the ACTA bill. They're working around that. And for those who don't know what that means, I will explain that later and why you guys have every right to your digital content. But let's keep going, all right? Now, ACTA is going to be signed in Ireland and in EU. And I know a lot of you guys were mad about this on Wednesday. I put it on the fan page, and you had some very strong opinions due to the fact that, this bill actually oversees EU laws already. That's right. They're writing it to go around the laws. Now, I will explain. This is what some of you guys said in the comments, all right? It says, especially frightening is the point that this treaty will allow ISPs to give their user details to copyright holders. That's right. It says, which is against EU law. They're going around it. All right. It says, I wonder which one will take precedence. The law that's in place now or the one they're writing, currently. It goes to show you this is going to come down to money once again. It says, invading the privacy of even he or she is not sharing files. That's right. So you'll have to give up your information even if you're not sharing files. Goes to show you that they're playing hardball right now. It says it's abuse to the max. It says this is pretty much smiling faces to big corporations. It says they have not realized how many people they can sue. It says most likely millions already downloaded things, and by them giving them this much power, they're going to see a lot of problems down the line. That's just one, all right? It says, notice how they're going after the people they know can't spend money to fight this in court, meaning you, the little guy, because as we've seen continuance after continuance, you will run out of money. That's what this will come down to, all right? But let's keep going. And paying for professionals and expert opinions and all that stuff matters. That stuff costs money, but let's keep going. It says, then you have the media demonizing them and saying they're stealing jobs. And as we all know, they're not stealing jobs due to the fact that all they do is they send the jobs overseas anyway, the manufacturer. So let's keep going. It says, to go after so many people who get free music, movies, games, software, most of the world would be facing charges. That's money. That's money for them. Most of the world, they'll go after anybody, including you. They'll fight, even if you haven't done anything, if someone even close to you has done something like that, you'll still be connected somehow. This is how they're playing the game right now. All right, but let's keep going. It says, but then you will have hackers fighting these acts, showing the people behind the push have pirated software and materials in their own possessions. We've seen this before. Other people have done this. Other people who've authored these bills have been caught pirating themselves. So, yeah, that's what it comes down to. Some of these places made the tools to pirate. But let's keep going. It says, this is why people over here need to send a clear message to the government. You vote this in, we vote you out. And I agree. But let's keep going. It says, whatever company is pushing this bill, we boycott your products. Which, something tells me it's going to come down to this. All right, and I don't know how strong many of you are, but it's going to come down to this. Let's keep going. It says, whatever companies push this bill will boycott your products. It says, it all comes down to money and profits, which is why the complaining should also be with the wallet and not just the mouth, which I agree completely. It says, anyone can talk a good game until it's time to act. It said, the sad thing is, people lack the willpower to boycott companies because they give into buying something, especially if it's merchandise they really want. We've talked about this before where you're like, forget this company until the next game comes out and then you're back on the wagon. So, yeah, I understand that completely. It says, these companies and corporations look at us as small fries until you seriously mess up their profit flow. It's completely true. Not one word that is false. Not one. But for those who feel as though this won't reach over here to America because it's, you know, it's in process right now in EU and Ireland, President Obama already signed ACTA. Already. It didn't even go through Senate. It didn't go through Senate. He signed ACTA on, was it September 2011? That's right. In September 2011, he signed it. So let's get something straight here. We talked about this in the comments. You know, wait a minute. This guy said no to SOPA, but he signed ACTA. Isn't that trolling? Yes, that's trolling. And I told you before, he does not care. This was just to push his campaign for the next election. That's what it is. And all these things, you don't really see the media covering all this stuff, do they? But we'll talk about this some more. Because speaking of Megaupload, we know that the imprisoned Megaupload founder also was one of the top Call of Duty players. It's funny how priorities really mess up when you have like the government behind you and exactly how the laws dictate each other. Now here's a question that needs to be asked, and really, I'm shocked more people haven't asked this. This is what a fan said on the fan page. Yes, he's the founder because he's been in prison, but the owner of the mega sites is a record label executive. Guess who's not being charged with anything or even being mentioned by the media? There you go. Now look, the picture you saw, of course it's inaccurate because the guy hasn't been sentenced yet, but understand that it speaks a lot of truths and a lot of volumes, guys. You have to understand that the court system is not about justice. It's not. It's about laws and the way they play these games, and it's down on money. You're going to tell me that a rapist, and I put it like this, how many times have we seen a rapist get 3 to 5 years for rape and get out? But if someone embezzles money, they get a ton of years. It makes morally, it makes no sense because you're only embezzling money. That's because they hold money higher than morals. Don't let them fool you. It is a facade. But let's move on, guys. I need to speak about Pippa because that's a completely different topic for another day. Let's talk about Pippa a little bit more, guys, because for those who don't know, Pippa, that's right, the sponsors are working on an amendment to remove search. That's right. It says reports that Pippa sponsor Senator Patrick Lee and John Kyle are in discussion to remove the search engine provisions from the bill, meaning they're only doing this due to the fact that it depletes Wikipedia and places like Google. It's about money. Now, I want to talk about circumventing DRM real quick, guys, because this is something serious. Understand, in 2010, a judge ruled that circumventing DRM, for those who don't know what it is, that's bypassing DRM that's already on your product that you bought, is legal. You're allowed to do it. It is not illegal, and you should not be punished for it. I'll explain. It says, the case itself ruled that General Electric is using hacked security dongles to repair some uninterruptible power supplies produced by another company. Did not violate the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Why? Because the end goal was legal. If the hacked dongles had been used for the forces of evil, the story would be different. Meaning, if you go through your DRM, if you circumvent it, if you get rid of the DRM on it, if you hack it or whatever to keep it for you, the company actually has to prove that your intent was for malicious intent, pretty much. If they can't do that, then guess what? It's legal. Now, I'll explain this. It says, while this doesn't sound immediately applicable to DRM protected software, music, and movies, bear in mind that the DMCA is the foundation for every spurious copyright claim made by the RIAA and PAA and the myriad of other digital right groups. In essence, this ruling means that you are free to break DRM media that you own. You understand that? It goes on to say, no longer is it illegal to rip your own DVDs or crippled audio CDs onto your hard disk. It says, I think there might be some implication for the god-awful DRM used on the contemporary games like Assassin's Creed 2. Now, I want to talk about this for a minute, guys. Understand that breaking DRM is legal, all right? It says, so now it's time to put pressure on the companies who enforce DRM, because if you bypass it, they ban you from your game. That's what they do if you bypass it. According to this, it's now legal to punish anyone bypassing DRM content they own. However, here's the defense for the companies, so now that you know that that law's been passed, it flew under the radar, of course, but it's been passed, understand that companies are now saying that the software that you bought isn't yours. That's what they're saying. That's their defense. That's what they're going to use, all right? So it's conflicting. So even though you bought it, the courts say it's yours, but the companies are saying, well, in the terms of service, it says that the software that you bought isn't yours, and you agree to that. You get what's going on here? Very conflicting. Gamers, you need to start raising questions. You really do. And speaking of DRM, all right, Ubisoft backs down from DRM again. Now, last week I talked about this, how they were going after PC gamers and how you couldn't change out your graphics card. Yeah, well, PC gamers jumped all over them, and they backed down again. And this isn't the first time they've done this. They've backed down at least 3 or 4 times now. And I don't understand why these companies are trying to see how much they can get away with their customers. And I'm telling you, companies, if you keep doing it, like I said, gamers, they'll do their own thing. All right. For those who have not seen, gamers have remade, I should say, brought back from the dead because the game was canceled. Sonic Extreme for the Sega CD, Sega Saturn. I forgot what it was for, but anyways, they remade the game. Now, that Sonic game has been canceled for a very long time. For gamers to step up and bring it out on their own, that is amazing. Sega, you better not give them a cease and desist order. I swear, you better not. Anyways, I need to move on. Twisted Metal. Now, I know a lot of you guys are looking forward to Twisted Metal, but it's come down that Twisted Metal will have an online pass. Yes, right, despite David Jaffe's wishes. David Jaffe thought that because Twisted Metal, it's been so long and that he feels that he's let down the fans, that he owed them something. He didn't want the online pass on there. He said that, he wanted to build a rapport with the fan base again. But Sony, since they are the publisher, has other plans. That means the online pass is on. And here's something that I do have a problem with, all right? Because Twisted Metal, the demo itself, will get a day 1 patch. The demo! You have to be kidding me. Why is a demo getting a patch? It's a demo. Look, if you can't take the time out to figure out all your problems on a demo, then there's a problem. Stop rushing these games. It's not even the game. You're just rushing the demo at this point. It's a joke. We've talked about this before. Whatever. Besides, I'm not buying the game anyway. I don't like Jaffe as it is, and I've given my reasons in the past for that. Anyways, let's move on. Star Wars. Now, look. You guys have sent me so much mail about the Old Republic since last week, all right? This is getting out of hand, all right? First off, I want to start with what we talked about 2 weeks ago, which was the Ilum exploit where players were being banned for going to high-level areas and looting. Well, guess what? There's a patch for that now, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. However, the problem is, with the quick patch, the hot fix, it caused more problems, this time with the player versus player community. Since then, the lead designer for the player versus player and also operations and flashpoints has come out to address the issue. He says that a hotfix is on the way. Really? A hotfix? You do realize that the hotfix is what got you into this mess to begin with, right? So you know when a hotfix comes out, they cause other problems. Then you have to hotfix those problems. And then other problems show up. And then you have to understand that you need to take your time when making these games. When you come out with patches, you have to take your time. You're making yourself look bad. But that's not all. He comes out and says, turrets apparently give no honor, as we see in the video. It says, and corpse campers might face repercussions. So now we're back to square one. That's right. So meaning you either be banned or penalized, temporarily banned, if you decide to use these type of exploits, that the companies haven't fixed. You realize that, right? Let's keep going. It's sickening. It really is. Here's some more sickening news, though, about it. The Old Republic, all right? The unsubscribe button goes missing a day before accounts are billed. That's right, a day before accounts are billed, and this is what they say. Some players have found a workaround link, all right? Because you can't use, you want to unsubscribe so that you're not billed, because that's what it comes down to. And players have found a workaround link, right? And they put it in threads so that it would help other gamers unsubscribe, but that's not what the company wants. So what does the company do? They shut down the threads and warn those people because it's apparently violating the rules of conduct. That's right. So pretty much they take the unsubscribe button away from you, you're billed, and you're screwed. But when people try to help you, they get warned. How's that possible? But let's keep going. It says BioWare is investigating the situation and has alluded to an issue with certain types of browsers. If it's a browser issue, then this should have been taken care of before you brought out the game. Isn't that what all the testing and everything is for? You should know these things by now. Isn't that what beta is for? I mean, come on. It says, of course, in beta you don't pay for anything, but still, these things should be tested. But it says, in the meantime, the CS team has asked those affected customers to contact the company by phone for help canceling their subscriptions. Meaning, you're going to be on the phone for God knows how long with a rep from somewhere, God knows, and they're going to make you jump through hoops just to, to unsubscribe. Yeah, that's great customer service. But here you go. It says BioWare is rewarding those players who paid for an additional month of the game time by March 19th with a special founder title. So with all that, that's all you're giving now. It's a joke. It's a joke. But that's not all. No. That's not all. All right? Players have complained about being billed, the billing for their customers are being billed the next month before their sub is up. So the unsubscribe button is gone for you to unsub, and you're already being billed before that month is over. It rolls over. You understand that? It's horrible. I'm telling you, every person that has sent me something about this has all said the same thing. It's a sinking ship. That's what it is. And that's not all. Because it has come out now that more than a 40% drop in their subscriptions during the free month. This is not going good. Not at all. All right. And also, in more banning news, a guy gets banned from the Old Republic for using a meme. Now, we'll talk about this for a minute because of the fact that we've seen this on forums all the time. The guy said, clearly he's overage, all right? And he has his account and everything, but he says he's 12 years old. And he automatically is banned. Now, I've seen this before on forums. Like I said, we've all seen it. And in certain forums, they tell you if you want that certain account back, then you're going to have to prove that, you're of age. They want you to send them, and check this out, a birth certificate. I don't think so, all right? No one is giving you their birth certificate just to be able to use an account online. And I put it like this, in these days and times, since he has an account, shouldn't they be able to verify his age? Especially since he pays for the game monthly? Come on, seriously. But they're only looking at face value. Oh, he said he's 12. That's the bottom line. Even though he's using a meme, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's what it is, guys. This is a joke. But I do have some news for you guys. Star Wars Battlefront 3. There's a rumor that's being made. There's a link in the info bar for you guys. There's developer notes and moles, and there's pictures of it. Now, I don't know if this is going to be the actual game, the screenshot that they have, because as we all know, Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2 was third person. This one looks like it's an FPS, just to let you know. And I really hope it doesn't come down to FPS, because that's what made Battlefront 1 and 2 so good. It was a third-person shooter you could just, play around. To make another generic FPS, come on, guys. Come on. You got to think outside the box on that one. Also, I want to talk about this in more EA news, because you guys have said it, ever since all that Star Wars news, you have to think now, because a lot of you guys have been saying this. I know I just said that, but it doesn't matter. You have to understand that BioWare, it seems that ever since they've teamed with EA, they've become a horrible company. They're rushing products. They've never had this many problems with their products until they merged, or should I say made this deal with EA. Dragon Age, now Star Wars, and now, in more news, Mass Effect 3. That's right. Mass Effect 3, their toy line will now have DLC to it. That's right. The toy line will have Also, in more news, Modern Warfare 3's DLC has been restricted to one profile. This is it's getting out of hand. Also, in more news, Modern Warfare 3 players, I understand why you're mad. In more news, Square announces a Mega Lightning DLC, who apparently is a playable character, even though we all thought that Lightning was already playable, but that's not the point. Also, for DLC, as bosses, they are adding Sephiroth and Kefka. What is going on over there, Square? So you're willing to whore out favorite characters that fans love so that they'll go out and possibly buy this crap-ass game. You've got to be kidding me, Square. Look, I'm telling you now, it's going to come back to bite you. The fan has already said it. This will cause a problem for them, as if they bring back past Final Fantasy bosses. Fans would turn and say, if you can do that, why not remake 5 through 9? The choice to expand the story through novels. Square, you're stepping into a zone that's going to piss a lot of people off, and I really hope the fans jump on you for it. Anyways, in Skyrim news, 1.4 patch has now been detailed, but that's not the big news. No. Gamers have stepped up again and modded Skyrim, this time with My Little Pony. It just goes to show you, no matter how dark and decrepit or serious something can be, gamers can be very lighthearted about things. They really can. Now I want to move on, guys. Microsoft. That's right, I got some Microsoft news. They now have achievements for developers. Why? Why do developers need achievements? See, this achievement thing, this trophy thing, has gone way beyond what it should have already. And it goes to show you just how stupid people are to buy into this type of thing. Especially developers, because there's some developers that are just like, yeah, I'm all for it. Really? Do you need a reward every time you do hard work? Do you need a reward every time you do your job? Is that what it is? I don't understand this. You do your job, that's it. Job done. You've had a hard day's work. That's not enough? Now you need someone to pander to you, to cater, to coddle you? Is that what it is now? You need some type of merit? You gotta be kidding me. Anyways, let's move on. Next-gen Xbox might not play used games. This is a rumor. Now, if this is true, this will not go well. And I'm telling you now, this will piss off a lot of people. I don't think it's going to go. I just think it's still, like I said, it's a rumor. I don't think it's real. All right? I would definitely like to see what comes out of this. But we all know retailers would have a fit about this, and they would not push the next Xbox and things of that nature. Okay? So it's definitely something that they really shouldn't think of. It's only a rumor, though. We'll see what happens. Also, there's also a rumor, as you guys have said, Microsoft is phasing out MS points. So what, you want cold hard cash from Microsoft? Is that what it is? You do realize that many gamers have already stepped up and said, well, I'm not putting my credit card on your network, especially with all the phishing and hacking schemes. This would be a very bad idea. This would be a horrible idea. But let's move on. In PS Vita news, apparently the game Samurais and Dragons will actually be free to play. So guys, you can get ready for that. Insomniac is apparently done with the Resistance series. And you know what? Good. Because you screwed gamers with Resistance 3. When Resistance 3 came out, what did I say in my video? What did I tell you guys when they did the online pass? I said you already have the online pass on it. They took a backlash from the fans with that. On top of this, you got rid of the best part of your game, which was the multiplayer. The co-op multiplayer was the best part. And you had that Resistance 2. There's a reason why people still love that. And you took it away and said, well, we can do better now because the numbers are, in Resistance 2 were better. The only reason why Resistance 2 did so good is because you had that multiplayer. Because the single player story was pretty average, all right? That wasn't going to save your product. It was the multiplayer that kept people coming back, and you took it away from them, so now you suffered horrible sales. You should have listened to the fans. You deserve to get what whatever happens. You deserve it. Anyways, I want to move on, all right? Seriously, if you patch the co-op in Resistance 2, Resistance 3, it would probably sell. I'm just saying. Anyways, Hudson, I talked about this last week, how Hudson is done. They're shutting down. Hudson lives on. That's right. Apparently, Konami is the people who bought them out. However, they will not shut down the company now. This is news that we're just getting. They're taking over it, but they're going to make it a branch. So that's good news. And speaking of Konami news, Kojima has revealed that New Shot's Zone of the Enders HD collection is coming. That's right. It's coming. Now, I want to move on because some people have been asking about this. Retro Studios is working on Star Fox Wii U. So there you go, Star Fox fans. That's for you. And there's rumor right now that Rocksteady is making a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. That's right. They're thinking about doing it. Now, look, if this, a lot of people say, look, it's going to be like Batman. They're probably going to make it dark. Hey, whatever. I'm for that. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. I mean, as long as it's good, I mean, that's all that matters. However, like I said, me and Rocksteady right now, we're not vibing. I don't have a problem. I would never second guess Rocksteady's development process because they've shown with Batman they can take something and make it really good. However, their business practices are what keep me away from them right now. Like I said, I'm still waiting for the Game of the Year edition for Batman, which will, I'm sure it will come out. All right, now, I want to talk about this a little bit, guys, because last week I had said to you guys that, you know, what happened with Capcom. Talked about them, about how I'm not going to buy Mega Man or Monster Hunter, that really affects me. But hey, I have enough games, I'm good. You know what I mean? I stay true to my word. And one of you gamers got back to me, were kind enough to get back to me to let me know that there is a Monster Hunter game out there, but it's not made by Capcom. I'll be talking about Capcom in a minute. I mean, you know, down the line. But like I said, there's a Monster Hunter game out there that's not made by Capcom, and the people who made this game pretty much letting you know now. They really put their foot in this. They really watched Monster Hunter and decided to make this game. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, the free-to-play MMO Monster Hunter game that's like Frontier, not exactly like Frontier, but it's like Frontier, Hunter Blade. Now, the only problem that I have seen with this game is downloading the game from the main client. Apparently, the speeds are atrocious. They are horrible. All right, and mind you, the file size is only 1.63 gigs, so it's not that big of a file. But because of over in China, the way their downloads are, it's horrible. So unless you don't mind, keeping your computer on for days at a time and downloading this, I would say look for a torrent somewhere. At least it's a free-to-play game anyway. Find a torrent somewhere and download it. But other than that, and like I said, this is from gamers all across the board who have said this. But outside of that, I've heard no complaints about this game. Just letting you know, all right? And it also has player versus player. But I need to move on. Alright, THQ is working on 2 unannounced Wii U titles. However, THQ right now is having a little bit of a situation because their ex-employees that they laid off have fired back at them. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, they wrote a letter going after the board of directors, going after everyone from the top to the bottom pretty much. Alright, in a note. The link is in the info bar if you want to read it, alright? But I need to move on, guys. We need to talk about something I said I'd talk about this week. I said it last week, alright? Resident Evil 6. Or should I say, Gears of Evil 6. Are you seriously ducking cover? Come on, man. First off, Leon looks like he's Jack Bauer with the president. You got Chris who's still on roids, alright? And Leon's spinning on the ground and doing headshots. And no, this is not survival horror. And Forty says, well, why don't you wait until you see more? No. Capcom has come out and said it's not survival horror. They have labeled Resident Evil 6 dramatic horror. Meaning it'll just jump out at you. That's all it is. That's not survival horror, alright? This is what they've said. But let's keep going, alright? Because apparently Resident Evil, they're going to take Resident Evil and they're going after the Call of Duty fan base. You gotta get me, right? You get me, right, Capcom? Look, first off, understand this. In the article, they do talk about more heavily on Raccoon City than it is Resident Evil 6. They're still trying to cater to that fan base, though. But understand that Resident Evil 6, that actually looks like it should be Raccoon City because of the Operation Raccoon City. Because that looks more personal in your face than Operation Raccoon City. You know, that pew pew pew. That looks garbage. It looks like garbage. I understand it for a typical just internet run and gun game, I guess. Okay, but this game doesn't. It looks. Resident Evil looks horrible. It does. Resident Evil 6. I've seen all these fans. Oh, this will revitalize Resident Evil, and now there's rumor that this will be the last main canon Resident Evil. If this is true, then Capcom needs to bring out all the guns. You need to bring back Chris, Jill, Leon, Rebecca, Barry. I mean, you need to bring them all back and make them all playable. There's no way that no one else would know. All right. Nobody, Hunk, everyone, Carlos, everyone, because there's no way that you can sit here and say that this, if it, like I said, it's rumor right now, but if this is the final, you go out with a bang. That's what you do. But right now, it's not looking good. I mean, seriously, for everything we know so far, for those who don't know, Resident Evil pre-order DLC has already been announced the day after they revealed the trailer. The day after, that's right. Pre-orders will consist of map packs and game modes. That's right, and it will be all going through different retailers, Amazon, Best Buy, and all these things. Understand what Capcom is doing. This is turning out to be like Resident Evil 5 again. Gold Edition. Just wait for the Gold Edition at this point. It's ridiculous, but let's keep going. The dev time has been 2 years. So pretty much they're rushing this because, come on, you need more time. And like I said, I thought personally that the graphics look good, but some of you guys had said, you know, I don't like what the graphics look like. I personally thought it was okay. All right, but the story looks like it's going to be 3 different scenarios that are going to connect with each other. I really don't care. This is a joke. I just really don't. I know some people are saying, well, they're trying to give you a little bit of everything, some horror, some action. No, this is just action. That's what this is. All right, I don't care about that guy's problem with his T-virus or whatever virus it is these days. I don't care. All right, I just don't. It's horrible. But I will say this: there needs to be a question that's brought up. All right, because a lot of people say that Resident Evil 5 was the biggest, the highest selling game. That's, that's what people want over the shoulder. You have to understand that Resident Evil 5 was the first Resident Evil for the next generation, so it's going to sell well, and the anticipation was there. They wanted another Resident Evil. They just didn't expect that. All right, that's what you have to understand. Same thing with Mega Man. If they came out with Mega Man right now on Xbox or PlayStation, it would sell because of anticipation purposes. It sells off name alone. You don't know what you're getting, but that's what people want. That's what Capcom knows. That's what you're failing to realize. But you know what? A lot of people also say that they love Resident Evil 4 and what the difference between Resident Evil 4 and 5. And there's a big difference between the two. However, you have to understand that in Japan, they got Resident Evil 4 old school. We didn't get the bonus that they got. And for those who know what I'm talking about, let's look at Leon's situation. Who says you can't have an old school feel with a little bit of new school flavor? And if Capcom was smart, they would. And I put it like this, they would release that. They would just take that small situation and release it for everyone. I guarantee you people would buy that. See, Capcom, I understand you're about money, but you're not doing everything it is to maximize the potential of your money while pleasing the fans. That's the problem. That's what a good businessman does. That's all I'm going to say on that one. But I want to move on because I need to talk about more Resident Evil 6, but I have a question for you guys. The question should be, since we're seeing everything what's going on in Resident Evil 6, do you think we'll see the same problems that we saw with complaints with Resident Evil 5? And what I mean is shooting, Asian civilians in China. I'm just going to leave that open for you guys because I'm not sure. And also, I want to talk about this a little bit. Do you think we're too forgiving of game developers? There's a nice little write-up here about how gamers are just too forgiving of game developers and companies, and for everything that they do, rushing products, glitching, they promote these products that are so glitched and buggy as hell. You have all these problems with the attitudes of developers and companies and not caring. Why are we so forgiving? I remember back in the day, they weren't so forgiving. This is why we had some type of harmony with companies, because the companies actually listened to us and they knew if we got mad, we'd walk away and they'd be out of business. They knew this. Now companies, they don't care. And we also know that companies don't listen to fans anymore. They listen to shareholders, which is a big problem in today's industry. All right, because they take demands from them instead of understanding, what the fans want. So when you listen to the shareholders and they say, yo, you should be doing this, and they listen to them and it doesn't sell, then they try to blame the gamers again and say, hey, it's your fault you didn't buy it. No, it's your fault you didn't listen. That's all I'm going to say. Anyways, guys, I'm done for the week. As you can see, I'm tired. It doesn't matter. I will talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. We're going to start back up. Y'all know how we do next week. I'm out. Have a good weekend.
Sega.
When the day appears too long and you feel all alone, you can depend on the friend you have in me. Depend on the friend you have in me. You can depend